It's 6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. When I was a kid living on Long Island, I had a crush on a girl, Robin.
Uh-huh.
You find that unusual?
No, I don't.
I did. Had a crush on her.
You guys are manly.
And guess what? Mm-hmm. I found out where she worked.
Aw.
Guess where she worked?
Where did she?
She worked at Teddy Roosevelt's house.
Oh, cool.
She was a tour guide or something. I don't know what they called it. So, like a dope. I went there just to kind of see her and pretend that I was interested in Teddy Roosevelt. Well, guess what happened at the end of the tour? I became interested in Teddy Roosevelt.
Nice.
Yeah, it was one of those cool moments, and I hope I hope his home is still open for tours. And I remember going to his gravesite, and all of a sudden, my interest. Well, maybe it didn't really wane a whole lot. I have a bad memory, but. But my interest in Teddy Roosevelt definitely was born that day. There is a book in my hands right now that I am anxious to tell you about. It's called Rough Riders, Theodore Roosevelt, His Cowboy Regiment, and the Immortal Charge Up San Juan Hill. Mark Lee Gardner is our guest. He's an award-winning historian. He's an authority on the American West. He worked with the National Park System, PBS Television, National Geographic Magazine, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I had a typo.
And let's just say hello to Mark. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
How did you become interested? I hope you heard my intro. I became interested in Teddy Roosevelt. Not because I'm a history guy, but because I liked girls.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I don't care how you become interested. That's great that you're. I mean, he's a fascinating, as you know, he's a fascinating figure. But I guess as a child, I just kind of liked him, and I don't even know why I liked him. Maybe it was the glasses or the teeth. But I was just attracted to this character, and then of course as a Western historian, really interested in Roosevelt's time in the Badlands out west as a cowboy and as a hunter. And then, of course, this regiment, the Rough Riders, it's really kind of a Western story because there's a lot of cowboys and miners and those types, frontiersmen. They end up joining this regiment under Roosevelt.
Interesting. And he had some connections to here in Central Florida, too. I don't know them. I'm sure you do. But you know what I remember? Remember from the tour of the house?
Yes.
Was that, and comment on this if you could, that in sculpting Mount Rushmore, his image was the controversial one. Nobody had a problem with the other three, but the people at the time had a problem with Roosevelt. Is that true?
That's what I recall, and I'm not an expert on that, but I do have that recollection that there was. I mean, it was so recent. He had died in 1919, and some people think, what's the legacy, and maybe it takes a long time. Of course, Abraham Lincoln had died, in 1865. But yeah, there was some debate over whether Roosevelt should be on Mount Rushmore. I think today, in hindsight, that he definitely deserves to be on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. I can't imagine it without him. So, oh my gosh, you sort of look like him. I'm looking at your pic.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You might be.
If there hadn't been a San Juan Hill, he might not have been on because that led directly to his presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And so that's the part of his history that you focused on in this book, right?
Yes, I focused on this regiment and his leadership of the regiment and what they did in the Spanish-American War in Cuba. And I wrote it mostly from the letters and diaries that these men kept, and a lot of these letters hadn't been available to other historians. So I think it gives a lot of insight on what their personal experience was, and it actually lends credence to Roosevelt's reputation as a leader and a real war hero.
But this book also shows that some of the Rough Riders went bad too. They weren't all good guys.
That's true. They were not all good guys. Yeah. In fact, Roosevelt's wife, she said that sometimes she thought that they had 1,000 very ruly and bad children because some of them would get in trouble. And then, of course, if you get in trouble and you've got an old buddy that's president of the United States, that's who you write. It's like, hey, could you write my parole board and maybe help me get out? They did. A few of them wrote Roosevelt for letters.
What was the relationship between him and FDR? And okay, what was the relationship first, and then I'll ask my second question.
Okay, well, the relationship, FDR marries the daughter of Theodore's brother, Elliot.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so his surname is not really related to Teddy Roosevelts. They're two Roosevelts, but they're not related.
Well, no, they're related, and I think they're cousins somehow. I don't really know the direct.
Oh, okay.
But the connection though between the two families, Roosevelt had a brother named Elliot, and Elliot, his daughter, who is Eleanor, right? Ends up marrying FDR.
But it seems like, and again, you'll know better than me. It seems like politically they wouldn't have agreed on a whole lot.
No, not really. In fact, Theodore's a Republican, FDR is Democrat, and Alice Roosevelt, Theodore's daughter, she absolutely hated FDR. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Politically, there wasn't much gelling there.
So you had an opportunity to put things into a book that haven't been put into a book before by reading the letters.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yeah, the letters written by some of these individuals, and some revelations. On San Juan Hill, it's really kind of a miracle that Roosevelt survived. I mean, he was leading the charge and exposed to enemy fire, and actually kind of, you could say, maybe foolhardy. And one soldier wrote in his home, he said, if our commander acts the same way in the next battle, I don't expect him to live. Insights like that from these letters.
I liked your chapter, Road to Santiago, and it just really touched me, especially when people come from magazines to just follow the war, and they're the ones that chronicle it.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there were your top war correspondents of the day were there in Cuba, and a lot of them attached themselves to the Rough Riders. They were the media darlings. They sold newspapers. I mean, you had Roosevelt, you had these Ivy Leaguers, you had the Cowboys, this very American regiment. They were volunteers, so they got lots of press, and so these war correspondents followed them. In fact, some of the war correspondents actually participated in the fighting. One of the correspondents with the Rough Riders received a horrible injury in the spine. He was crippled for life. But yeah, there were some war correspondents that were actually firing at the Spaniards. It was different kind of journalism then, I guess.
I think so.
If you're a history buff, if you're a Teddy Roosevelt buff, you'll love this one, and it's one that I wanted to hold on to, but I won't. I will give it away. I will buy my own copy. Oh, is it for sale at the house up in? What was the name of this?
It's Sagamore Hill.
Sagamore Hill. Thank you.
I hope it's for sale there. Yeah, I hope it's for sale there. I don't know, but I hope they sell. They sell a lot of TR books there, but you can get it online and at Barnes & Noble and your local bookstore too. So.
I wonder if that girl is still working there. She's got to be 60 now.
She might be the director.
She might be. Yeah, she might be. All right, I have a copy of the book. Call me if you want the one that was sent to us. You will definitely like this one. The rest of us have to go buy it. Mark, do you have a website you can send us to?
Yeah, you can go to my website at markleegardner.com, or you can go to harpercollins.com.
Okay, excellent. There's another one on my notes. It says Song of the West. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's the same. It'll take you right to Mark. It's the same thing.
Okay.
So Song of the West or Mark Lee Gardner.
Okay, excellent. Mark, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. That was fun. And
thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. I hope you get back to Sagamore Hill sometime.
I would love to go. I want to show. And the gravesite is so uncelebrated. It's just there.
It really is. It's very poignant.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A delightful Wednesday with some sunshine and a high of 83 on the coast, 90 inland. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy, low 64 inland, 69 at the coast. For Thursday, partly sunny and very warm, high 84 at the coast, 91 inland. For Friday, sunshine and some clouds. There may be a late day shower or thunderstorm, high 86 at the coast, 92 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Every day, millions of seniors struggle with cancer, arthritis, and other rare diseases. They rely on Medicare Part B for access to their doctor and life-saving medicines. Shockingly, the Obama administration has proposed a misguided experiment to Medicare, and it could be devastating. Government bureaucrats could manipulate your course of treatment. Access to new breakthrough treatments may be restricted. Local clinics could be forced to close, requiring some patients to